instead of thinking, the mainstream media, which like, I mean, at least you have a checks and balances in the newspaper that I work in the New York Times, by and large and elsewhere. And you're right to point out those weaknesses in coverage with Gaza or not. We actually have had a correspondent writing for us from Gaza throughout this conflict, which has really, really given us a great concept and idea about what is going on and the suffering that people are going through there. So, but we aren't allowed in. We as foreign journalists aren't allowed in. So we've had to rely on the very strong shoulders of those Palestinian journalists who've told us the whole thing. Anyway, no, it's actually an issue. And I mean, the best we can do is be accurate, be checkable, and reflect the reporting that we are doing the best that we can. It's very difficult when you've got a internet blackout going on, because obviously.
Yeah, so that would be my second.
Getting back to the Iranian question. So obviously I have, quite good sources in Iran and a lot of different places. But if I were just coming at this fresh, didn't know how to do it, didn't know anything about Iran, I mean, who knows how you'd be able to couch it? I mean, and I think it's too big a lift for a lot of news organizations anyway, if they don't already have a track record in these, in these places. And, in newspapers coverage, I mean, all the papers, the main American newspapers that have been also covering Iran have really good people who have been working for decades on Iran, as I have. Yeah. So their sources, they're pretty good and they're pretty reliable. But then again, remember that the actual story is kind of also all over the map. There's not like a single trajectory of this or a single trajectory of that. There are just so many, kind of nuances and things like that. And I think the best we can do is reflect those the best they can be. But no one's going to be 100%, and even if you're inside the country, you've got a different bubble to deal with, I mean, I was just thinking today as I'm pulling together my next story on Iran, the fact that I'm outside means I don't have to think about, what if I write this? What if I write that? I'm just writing what I can find, but I have access to so much more. If I were actually in Iran right now,